The human mechanic had never thought that his path would one day cross with the royalty of another world, yet fate had a cruel and curious way of throwing mortals into the fire of destiny. He had come to the alien front lines as nothing more than a repairman, a fixer of broken armor and shattered machines, someone who patched together the wreckage left by warriors who bled and died far from home. But that night, under the crimson glow of 2 alien moons, he found himself kneeling before the most feared commander of the alien empire, the warrior queen herself. Her armor, forged from black plates that shimmered with a strange living light, was cracked, a jagged scar running across her side where a plasma bolt had struck her earlier in battle. When he offered, quietly, to repair it, she said nothing, merely turned her burning golden eyes on him as if testing whether he understood what it meant to even touch the armor of her kind. He reached out carefully, pulling a small tool from his pouch, his human hands steady yet trembling with the weight of the moment. And then, just as the tip of his tool brushed against the seam near her rib, her gauntlet hand shot out like lightning and seized his wrist with a grip that was stronger than iron. Her voice was low, dangerous, carrying the weight of generations of war and blood. "Not there," she hissed, her fangs glinting in the dim firelight. "Never touch it." He froze, his heart pounding in his chest, the silence between them sharp as a blade. For a long breath, the camp around them seemed to vanish, leaving only the two of them locked in that moment of forbidden contact, human and queen, mechanic and monarch, fragile mortal and living legend. She released him slowly, her gaze lingering on his face, perhaps surprised that he had not tried to pull away, perhaps measuring whether this human was coward or something else. In her culture, armor was not just protection, it was a second skin, a sacred extension of the warrior's body, and certain parts of it were never to be touched except by a chosen mate or in death. The human did not know this, not fully, but he could sense the danger in her tone, the ancient taboo that his innocent gesture had brushed against. And yet, beneath her fury, he also sensed something else, an echo of pain, a secret hidden within the armor's shadow. He swallowed hard, lifted his eyes to hers, and spoke with quiet honesty. "I wasn't trying to offend you. I only wanted to help." She studied him, her lips curling into something between a snarl and a smile. "You are human," she said at last, her voice carrying the strange mix of contempt and reluctant admiration that her kind often reserved for his species. "Always reaching into places you do not understand. Always lying with your soft words about helping, when really, you want to prove you are stronger than the galaxy believes." He shook his head, meeting her gaze steadily. "No. Not this time. I don't want glory. I don't want honor. I just don't want you to fall in the next battle because your armor failed." That answer made her pause. She was not used to defiance softened by sincerity. In her empire, every suitor, every rival, every soldier who dared stand before her came with hidden motives, with lies wrapped in flattery, with ambition disguised as loyalty. But this human, his eyes were steady, his words simple, his hands calloused not from wielding weapons but from repairing them. And perhaps that difference unsettled her more than she wanted to admit. Slowly, she let him continue his work, though she kept her gaze fixed upon him, every movement watched, every gesture measured. As he worked, he spoke little, but his silence was not like that of her own people. It was not a silence of fear but of focus, the silence of someone who knew his task mattered more than his pride. And though she would never say it aloud, the queen found herself listening to the rhythm of his breath, the steadiness of his hands, and something within her heart, a heart hardened by centuries of blood, shifted. Just slightly. Later that night, when the fires of the camp had dimmed and the soldiers slept beneath alien skies, she stood apart from the others, her repaired armor gleaming once more, and thought of the human. His words echoed in her mind, about not wanting glory, not wanting honor. No one in her entire life had ever said such a thing. They all wanted her crown, her throne, her power. But perhaps this human, this strange mechanic from a death world called Earth, wanted something simpler. Perhaps he wanted her to survive. And survival, she realized, was rarer than love in a universe consumed by war. Still, the forbidden touch lingered in her memory, the way his hand had come so close to the sacred seam of her armor. She should have punished him, should have reminded him of his place. Yet something about that moment haunted her, something she could not name, not yet. And so began the bond that neither queen nor human had expected, a bond born not from lies, not from marriage pacts, not from the games of kings and emperors, but from a single forbidden touch that dared to cross the boundaries of worlds.